We're just catching up here with Jamie Costin just outside Dungarvan here in Ring, and Jamie's been using Selective Dry Cow for a number of years and has been working with Chris doing the TASAH Consult over the last few years. Tell us about your experience doing a consult. Has that been a help to you on the farm, Jamie?
I suppose
How are you getting on with Selective Dry?
I came home about 10 years ago, so my father would have always been recording beforehand anyway.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I started trying to learn more about what the figures meant. So basically from the yield of the cow and everything, and cell count and lameness were two of the things that we were calling for. And bit by bit we started CMTing after milk recording and identifying our problem cows. But more and more as we were doing that, we were seeing to be a load of cows who weren't a problem. So when I knew that this 4 or 5 years ago, whenever I started speaking about the selective drying coming in, we actually started doing it straight away. So I think we picked 50 first calvers the first year, and just anything that was under 100,000 we did it. And then on the second year with the TASAH Consult that came up, I just said Chris is here anyway, we knock everything by him. So having Chris there, he's the expert, so he tells us we either treat them, don't treat them, or cull them, depending on what level of infections cows have or don't have. So it's working really, really well, and we're not noticing any difference the following spring, which is the main thing.
You mentioned milk recording being vital to your system, Jamie?
I think it's essential as a dairy farmer to know what your cows are doing, because you could have 100 cows there, and one cow could be doing 700 kilos milk solids, and another cow could be doing 400, and especially in a year like this when input costs are gone so high, if you can't identify your good cows, for me, I don't know most of the cows in the top 50%, I just know they're in the top 50%, but I know every cow in the bottom 20% of my herd, because you're sort of looking at them as, are they there for a reason, because they're first, second, third calvers, or high cell count, or lame, or is there a medical health reason for it, or is it because they're not good enough cows? And we use the milk recording to make sure that we're identifying the cows that are consistently in the bottom of the herd, and then we'll take action on those.
And how many milk recordings do you do in a year?
We used to do 4, but the last one was in September. So what we've done is, with this, obviously the advice from AHI and ICBF is do a 5th one closer to drying off. So we do 5th milk recording now in November. So it's sort of the middle of March, May, July, September, and then again the middle of November.
And the procedure to book in your TASAH consult, is that easy to do?
I did it online in a minute.
Okay,
yeah.
Right. That's good. Thank you for that. Is there anything else that you'd advise farmers around, let them know about the TASAH consult? It has helped your farm?
It has helped, because the way I look at it is that I'm looking through my milk recordings and understanding it a lot. Chris is a vet. He's consulting people every single day and bringing in experts. He's helping you, and it's free, and it works very well for us.
Good to see you today, Chris. You're going to have a chat to us about what you do with clients when they look for a TASAH consultation.
That's right, and I've been doing them now for the past 2 years. And I mean, there's been increasing uptake each year, which is great, and I think that the clients do get a lot out of it. I find it very interesting, and I think that there's great benefit from it. What's involved in typical TASAH consultation? Firstly, we look at least I look at the ICBF records, because obviously all of those milk recording data are up on ICBF, and there's excellent tools on ICBF now to analyse those records. So I look at those so that before I go out on farm, I have a very good idea of what the overall herd other health is like, what the incident mastitis, how many animals will be likely to be eligible for selective dry cow therapy. Then going out on farm, then it's a case of going out and going through all of those records with the herd owner and seeing where they're at. Often it may highlight mastitis issues, and more importantly also then looking at the actual drying off technique, because we all like to think we do everything perfectly, but the reality is it's always beneficial to have somebody just observe what you're doing, how you're doing it, and maybe pointing out things that can be done better. It gives you a way of looking at things objectively, looking at actual figures from your cell count records and seeing, well, where is the problem? And then looking at the real, the safe way of doing a selective dry cow therapy. Because now what did surprise me, sometimes some people have been doing it maybe just on a trial basis for a while, but it's always been maybe in small numbers. But I think if you're going to have the confidence to do it and do it on bigger numbers, which inevitably we're going to have to do down the road, then you need to be careful how you do it, how you select the cows, and how you actually go through the process of drying off. As regards the best time to do it, the best time to do it is when you have cows drying off. And I mean, that obviously varies from one herd to the other. Some herds will have cows drying off at different times if they're milking all year round. Some people will dry off maybe, late October. Some people will dry off a bit longer. But look, we need, when we're doing the actual visit, to have cows there that are drying off on the day. So you need to plan for that ahead of time. I mean, the earlier that any herd owner will opt to do it, the better, because it gives me or whoever is doing it time to actually go download your ICBF milk recording results, have a look at those, and then see what the pattern is in your herd, and then plan for what we need to discuss at the time. We have to think longer term, and we have to think about what's a necessary use of antibiotics. And if you've got cows who have got no evidence of infection, who have not been treated, who have a cell count less than 100,000 or 80,000 if you wish all year, really there's no real necessity to be putting antibiotics into those cows. So the way I see it going is that it's going to become essential to do this. As what's happening at the moment, some people, as I said, have been doing a little of this for a number of years. And where they've done a small number, they're more confident next year. I'm not suggesting to anybody that they launch in, head first and start doing everything this way. You need to go carefully initially, because you need, as I say, to do the actual drying off procedure carefully. You need to make sure your winter housing is very good to reduce levels of infection. You need to make sure everything is right in your calving time. So it's not all in the one day, but you need to be starting it, thinking about that way now. If you're considering selective dry cow therapy through the AHI TASAH program, then you will need to have milk recording results. You'll need 4 milk recordings in the year. You need a milk recording preferably so that all of the cows, as they're calved, are milk recorded within a month of calving. Your last milk recording preferably will be within a month of your drying off, because you need to see what they're at that stage. As well as the records, then we will need to be able to select the cows. Now, your bulk milk count throughout the year needs to be consistently below 200,000. If you're talking about looking at individual cows, to be suitable, they'll need to be consistently below 100,000. Now, there are excellent tools and filters on ICBF to select those out, and that's part of what I will do when I'm looking at records, deciding which cows are eligible and which cows are suitable. After that, then the next thing, of course, is you look at the drying off process. For the consult on the day, we'll need cows that are to be dried off. Ideally, you maybe have 10 cows there that are to be dried off. And it's not that I'm telling people that I know how to dry off cows better than anybody else. You just need to look at how you're doing it, and by doing that, giving us the best chance that you can do selective dry cow therapy using teat sealer on its own without giving you any problems. Now, after that, then we have to look at how cows are managed around drying off. When do you dry them off? What do you do with them once they're dried off? Then the other issue, of course, is, and it varies from year to year. Some years it's lovely, and if it stays dry like this, we'll be able to have cows drying off and going out onto clean paddocks. Doesn't always happen, and then we have to look at what's the housing like, how do you manage cubicles, how do you manage all of those things. So they'd be things that we'd be thinking about in terms of how you prepare for the TASAH.
If you're interested in the free dry cow consult and you think you may fit the eligibility criteria, please visit the Animal Health Ireland website, and it's a very quick sign up. If you want any more information on this topic, please talk to your local Glanbia representative or log on to glanbiaconnect.com.